Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 100 of The Path to 1 Million. I can't believe that I've made it this far. I'm super happy about that. Got a lot of things that I want to talk to you about today, marking the 100th episode, of course. If I can find my list here. I actually printed something out today so I could follow to make sure that I covered all the relevant points. So obviously I want to talk about the past, the present, and the future, as well as talk about the most popular episode to date that's on there. Martin, thank you for the like. Appreciate it. Hope everything's going well over there in Arizona. So one of the things that I do want to talk about is I actually missed the second most popular episode yesterday. I completely forgot. I was so excited to share that story and a little bit nervous at the same point in time, so I forgot to say, hey, let's do episode number 2. Anyways, the second most popular episode, and it really shouldn't be a shock if you've been paying attention all along, is actually episode number 58, where I talked about new beginnings disguised as painful endings. This was the episode where I talked about how my dad hung up his keys for the last time. He can no longer drive, so my parents are kind of housebound. I know a lot of people have been asking about what the situation was with my dad and how everything was going, and I'm pleased to report things are going much better. It's kind of cool when you talk to your parents on the phone and they actually sound optimistic for a change rather than always being pessimistic. But anyways, the Meals on Wheels program is working really well for them. The gentleman is taking good care of them, bringing them food every single day. Every time that I get mom on the phone on the weekend, she always keeps note to tell me about how good the food is. Oh, we had meatballs, or we had meatloaf, or something else like that. A lot of these foods that they haven't had in a while because my mom hasn't been able to cook it. So, anyways, it was very. It's very nice to talk to your parents on the phone, like I said, and have them be excited and be optimistic and positive for a change versus negative. Yeah. So anyways, let's talk about the path to 1 million and the podcast episodes, what's going on. So really the genesis of this actually started because I took a marketing class online. And one of the things that they talked about extensively was the use of video and how you're doing the video in your work and things like that. So one of the challenges that they came up with was, good morning, Chris, was they wanted you to do this 365-day challenge, whereas every single day you would do a Facebook Live and you would tell a story, you would talk about something or another. And so, of course, I took that challenge up because I'm always up for a challenge. I take these challenges because I want to learn something new about myself every single time that I do this. So anyways, that's where the genesis of the idea came from. And I know that, when you do these things live, you don't have the option to be able to go in and edit it after the fact. So whatever you say goes out to the world, and then that's it, game over. I can tell you this right now. I remember the first handful of episodes, I was just super nervous, there was a couple times I thought I was going to throw up on my shoes. But really now that I'm at episode 100, I've actually grown to enjoy this. This whole entire medium of broadcasting live and sharing my stories, off the cuff. I get an idea for a story every morning. I kind of map out a rough outline of what I want to follow, and I just go from there. And I've really grown to enjoy it. I've had a lot of great feedback from it, and I appreciate every single time that somebody likes, comments, or shares any one of my videos or takes the time to write me and tell me how much they love the stories and the impact that it's having on them. A few people have written me, labeling me as the inspiration for them to go out and try their own experiments. A couple of them being a couple people started podcasts. I know a couple people are interested in doing more Facebook Lives for them and their friends and what they're doing. And I told them, I said, I wish you guys all the best of luck. So what does this mean for the future? Where are we going with this? Well, I'm glad you asked. So as far as the future goes, I'm going to be a lot more mobile. I've been kind of broadcasting here from this office. The internet connection here is stellar. That's the reason why I do it. But I think I'm going to be going out and about and being more mobile, getting different types of backgrounds into the stories and stuff. And also, too, is that my life is going to become a lot more mobile. So I'm just going to have to get used to broadcasting no matter where I am. As much as I like to do it inside of the car, every single time that I broadcast from a car, it sounds like I'm inside of a tube. So I would just rather just be out and about somewhere and be able to broadcast it live. I'm also going to be doing a lot more tactical talking as well. So I do a lot of work with marketing, content marketing, social media marketing, specifically in the world of LinkedIn. So I'm going to be talking a lot more about the tactical side of it. I know there's a lot of people that are on here that are kind of, well, they're not kind of, they are business owners, or they work for nonprofits, or they're trying to raise money for some kind of a charity or a fund or foundation, or, you know, whatever that might be. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about about the tactical parts of being able to do this. Talk a little bit more about the strategies as well, which leads me to my next point there, interviews. Interviews are coming down the pipe. I'm going to be pulling people on to the podcast episode to share their stories and what it is that they're doing. I've already had conversations with a handful of people about having them be on my podcast, and of course they reciprocate and said, "Oh, we would love to have you on our podcast." So I think that's really cool. And as far as the show goes, like I said, this was started off as a 365-day challenge. I'm now at day 100, haven't missed a day yet. The one thing that I can say right now is I don't think I'll have any problem meeting the 365-day challenge, because I do enjoy this but I'm already starting to think of, just beyond 365. This is just something I would love to do every single day. The one thing that I am looking at, though, that I can give you a little bit of a preview on is the fact that I don't think this hour is going to cut it for me much longer. I've had a couple of other people as well tell me that, they just can't attend because they're either on their way to work or just starting their day, whatever it is. I totally get that. I am looking at maybe about the noon time frame, East Coast time, to move this episode. One of the big reasons why, of course, personally anyways, is that there are some days where I would just like to sleep in. I'm getting up every single day at anywhere between 3 and 3:15, and sometimes on the weekends I'd like to crash until 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 in the morning, just because my body needs it. Today was one of those days. I woke up and I was like, man, I could sleep for another 3 hours, but the show must go on. I committed to do this every day at 8:30, so here we are, every day at 8:30. So, with that being said, those are just some of the comments that I had with regards to the future of the episode. Now, drumroll please, I'm going to talk about the most popular episode to date. Number 1, the most popular episode that I put out there. And it really isn't any surprise. This was something that I put out there because there's a lot of people that are in my network that are really smart, that are really driven, that are also very passionate about what it is that they do. So to get this many comments, this many shares, this many likes, this many downloads of this particular episode, it's always nice to see those, but at the same point in time, it's just nice to have all that positive feedback and know that the story and the message resonated with people. So the most popular episode would be episode number 82, which is called How Bad Do You Want It? So in that particular episode, I just posed that question. Whenever you're feeling that you can't do something, or you're drained on resources or energy or time or whatever it is, really at the end of the day is how bad do you want it? And I quoted from Girl Wash Your Face, which is, by the way, a great book, even though it's geared towards women. I still read it because I read. But in there, she asked the question. She goes, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. So before you commit to do anything, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. It's just basically that's it. And that's how you just divide everything into 2 buckets. And if it's a hell yes, not a yes, but a hell yes, if it's a hell yes, then it's a lot easier to commit. Now, I do want to point out that one of the things that I do, and I've been thinking about this a lot more after reading David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, is he talked in there about his concept of the cookie jar. So how does this play out with episode 82? Well, in episode 95, I was talking about how every single time in life that you score these victories, right? Somebody told you that you can't do something. Somebody told you that it would never work or whatever it is, and you defied the odds, and somehow or another you made it work. You scored that victory. You need to treat that like a little cookie and put it in your cookie jar. So that way, whenever you start to do something new, whether you start to grow, whether you start to do something different or something new, when you get in that position where you start to doubt yourself and say like, damn, man, is this ever going to work, or this isn't going to work, or whatever it is, you go into that cookie jar and you grab that cookie. And if you have to grab 2 or 3 cookies, that's just fine. And the cookie could be just about anything, right? Did you survive a divorce? Did you survive cancer? Did you, did you travel around the world by yourself? Did you get, a degree in something when everybody told you that you couldn't? Whatever it is, whatever victory that you've ever had in your life where you've defied those odds, stick those cookies in that cookie jar. And like I said, whenever things go, whenever you're deciding to move your life and to move forward and to champion a new cause or to move in a different direction, grow your life, whatever that is, when that resistance hits, go into that cookie jar and grab one, and then when you pull some of those big things out, you're like, you know what? I survived cancer. This is a cakewalk here. And then it helps to put everything in a perspective, and it's a lot easier to move forward. So anyways, that was the most popular episode out there, episode 82. And of course, episode 95 is the cookie jar theory, which I discussed at length, if you really want to go and check that one out. Anyways, I wanted to thank you guys for stopping by and watching. As I do these particular episodes, I'm going to keep right on trucking. Tomorrow I'm going to be back with a regular episode. So anyways, thank you guys, everybody, for stopping by. And I will see you mañana.